I know a lot of people that was here that moved out because they got tired of this place because things wasn't getting done. And I'm on my verge of moving out myself. I think a landlord and a tenant should have a good relationship. You have tenants that is concerned. That's like, okay, is we gonna move or what are we going to do? Are you telling us to move out? And if you tell us to move out, at least give us something where we can move to. Or give me my money back. That's what I'm gonna tell you right now. Like if you want us to pay our rent, we want you to do your job as our landlord. Show us some of the same respect as we show you the respect. You want us to pay our rent on time, but what if we decide to say, okay, since you're not fixing anything, we're not gonna pay our rent?
I saw two of them, probably from the same litter because they look same color and everything. But they were right close together like this, following each other, and they were like right here, down here. But they were like halfway, right here, going towards that hole, and that's when I whipped either the hammer or the clock at 'em. It's been just about 3 weeks. I'm sick of trapping rats, catching whatever, anything to do with these rats. I've been asking them for help, which they promised me everything the first day, even to move me to a different apartment, blah blah blah. They still haven't done the damn thing, and I'm having nightmares and I'm done. I'm done with the whole thing. I could catch something from a rat worse than honestly than the COVID thing and not even know it. And no, all of a sudden you'd be knocking at my place tomorrow. I could be in here dead from some new disease that a rat gave me. Serious as hell.
What do we do? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Housing is a human right. Housing is a human right. Landlords are parasites. Landlords are parasites. Housing is a human right. Housing is a human right. Landlords are parasites.
The Tenants Union sincerely believes that everyone deserves quality housing and a quality place to live, and that if you're unemployed, you still deserve a place to live. We have basically a three-pronged approach to politics. We do work from without the system, within the system, so that's sort of the government, and then also against, right? So when we talk about against the system, we physically blockade people's houses when they are trying to get evicted. We have shut down eviction court as moratoriums have passed, and so really blocking these things from happening because of their violence. The city is 70% renters. If we all come together, well, we're gonna have a lot more power.
Landlords are parasites. Landlords are parasites.
I mean, the Ithaca Tenants Union is a different kind of organization that does a different kind of advocacy and does a lot of good. My name is Bill Niebel. I'm an adjunct professor at Cornell Law School, but I'm also a tenants' rights attorney. So I've worked in various legal aid, legal services organizations for about 15 years. Started out in Iowa, so I'm a lawyer, and I've defended a lot of tenants, primarily in eviction cases over my career. And so now I direct the Tenants Advocacy Practicum at Cornell Law School. And because of the whole way the system is right now, there isn't always a lot of incentive for the landlord to maintain the property. So people are often paying way too much for a rundown place. There's not a lot of incentive for the landlord to maintain or even upgrade the property.
Right there's a good reason to sue. a month ago, they came, my cable went out. I had to pay Spectrum extra because the rats ate through the cable. In the back of my mind, I should have a hell of a lawsuit. In just these 2-3 weeks that I've been sitting here doing a job that somebody else should be doing, or whatever you want to call it.
Stop the eviction! Stop the eviction! Stop the eviction!
You have to do your job. But you gotta make sure your tenants is good too. If you want to keep getting your tenants to stay and live here, do your job.
When I tried to release my apartment for the next year, the landlord wanted to raise my rent by about 12%, which was pretty significant. And for me, like, I'm already severely rent burdened, so that was like, I tried to get that to be lower and to like basically say that's a lot, like that's a big rent hike, like let's talk about this. I said, I've consulted with the Tenants Union, that's a really high rate. And the landlord basically responded to that email being like, who is like a tenants union? And I was like, well, that's a tenants rights organization. And as soon as I told him that, he basically sent me another email being like, I don't want to re-rent it to you. So knowing that like I was involved in a tenants union was basically the impetus of him not even like wanting to re-rent it to me. Knowing that because through like the organizing work that I'd done, that's illegal, like I fought that, and we had this whole quarrel, and like I got legal representation through the tenants union, so that was like really helpful. Most tenants will question whether their problems are actually real or if they're significant enough to actually do something about. I mean, it's obviously requires effort to fight back against the power dynamic of landlords, but I would tell anyone who is questioning whether like their problem is significant enough that it is, and that almost all landlord problems that we see are an exploitation of unjust power dynamics. Knowing that there is also a group out there who will fight alongside you is really powerful. There's lots of organizers who have done this work and won, in a lot of cases, lower rents, better conditions, just from creating a fuss, because landlords are not used to that at all. So, yeah.
We're going to keep saying it here. Landlords are parasites. Landlords are parasites. Housing is a human right. Housing is a human right. Landlords are parasites. Landlords are parasites. Housing is a human right. Housing is a human right. That's why we gotta fight. That's why we gotta fight.
So make sure that if your neighbor needs some help, you help him out.